Ever feel like you're doing all the right things, like you're talented, you work hard, but still feel unfulfilled? It's a pretty common paradox.
Yeah.
And today we're diving deep into a potential culprit you might not have considered.
Okay.
Energy vampires.
Interesting.
We've got an insightful excerpt here that explains not only who these vampires are, but also how they operate.
Right.
And most importantly, how you can reclaim your energy and your power.
I like it.
Ready to uncover a hidden reason you might be feeling stuck.
Let's do it.
Let's get started.
This feeling of unfulfillment, it's not always an internal struggle. Sometimes the root of the problem lies in external factors, things we might not even be aware of.
That's where this concept of energy vampires comes in.
Okay.
They're individuals or even forces that drain your mental, emotional, and physical energy,
All right.
leaving you feeling totally depleted.
Think of them like energy parasites, thriving off the vitality of others. And what's really unsettling is that often the person being drained has no idea what's happening.
It's like a stealth attack on your well-being.
It is.
And what's even more deceptive is that these energy vampires can be anyone.
Yeah.
Friends, family, colleagues.
Absolutely.
They often hide behind a facade of affection,
Right.
making it really hard to see their true motives.
It is very tricky.
Yeah.
And their tactics are subtle and insidious. We're talking about manipulation control, even things like Vashikaran,
Vashikaran.
which, by the way, is a kind of hypnotic influence often mentioned in ancient Indian texts.
Okay, so this isn't just someone having a bad day, right?
Oh, no.
We're talking about something much deeper and more calculated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their tactics are designed to keep you off balance
Right.
and under their control.
Can you give us an example of what these tactics might look like in real life?
Sure.
Yeah.
Imagine a friend
Okay.
constantly guilt-tripping you into doing things that you don't want to do.
Oh.
Or a colleague who always manages to make you doubt your ideas and contributions.
So it's not always outright aggression.
Right.
It can be subtle and disguised as concern or even affection.
Absolutely.
No wonder it's so hard to spot.
Right. And the impact of these tactics,
Yeah.
it goes far beyond just feeling tired.
Okay.
We're talking diminished creativity, emotional burnout, even physical fatigue.
I see.
Imagine trying to create something beautiful or groundbreaking when you're constantly being drained.
Right.
It's like trying to run a marathon on an empty stomach.
I can see how that would make it nearly impossible to tap into your full potential.
Yeah.
It's like you're constantly being sabotaged without even realizing it.
And don't underestimate the emotional toll.
Right.
The constant manipulation, the confusion, the subtle control.
Yeah.
It all takes a toll on your well-being.
Hmm.
You might feel overwhelmed by guilt, sadness, or even anxiety.
Wow.
It can feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, never knowing what will set them off.
That's gotta be exhausting.
It is.
You mentioned physical fatigue too. Is that a common side effect of being around energy vampires?
Absolutely. Think about it. You're constantly on edge. Your mind is racing. You're not sleeping well.
Right.
It's bound to affect your physical health.
I see.
Chronic exhaustion, weakened immunity, digestive issues.
Wow.
These can all stem from being around energy vampires.
And then there's the impact on your sense of self-worth.
Right.
I imagine being constantly manipulated and made to feel inadequate can really chip away at your confidence.
It's like they're slowly draining your belief in yourself. You start to question your abilities and accomplishments.
Right.
And that can lead to a downward spiral of self-doubt.
This is all pretty heavy stuff.
It is.
So how do we even begin to recognize if this is happening to us?
That's the question.
Have you ever had that feeling where you're around someone and you just feel inexplicably tired afterward?
Yeah.
Like you can't quite put your finger on it, but your energy is just zapped?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's a really important first step. Paying attention to those subtle shifts in your energy and mood, especially after interacting with specific people,
Right.
is crucial.
Okay.
If you find yourself constantly battling self-doubt,
Yeah.
even when you've had success in the past, or if there's a nagging feeling of dissatisfaction in your life,
Right.
that could be a sign that you're dealing with an energy vampire.
So it's about tuning in to those red flags and really taking stock of who and what is draining our energy.
Exactly. And once we've identified those strains,
Yeah.
we can start taking steps to protect ourselves
Okay.
and reclaim our power,
I like it.
which is what we'll dive into next.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've identified the problem. These energy vampires are lurking around, draining our vitality and holding us back from our true potential.
Right.
But now let's talk solutions.
Okay.
How do we fight back and reclaim our energy?
Great question.
Yeah.
And the good news is you absolutely can reclaim your power. Our source material lays out a clear path to protecting yourself from these drains.
I like it.
And it all starts with identification.
So we're talking about naming names.
Right.
Making a list of suspects, like a most wanted poster for energy vampires.
Not quite a most wanted poster.
Okay.
But the idea is similar.
Okay.
You need to honestly reflect on the people, habits, and even environments that consistently leave you feeling depleted. It's not always just about individuals. It's about recognizing patterns and situations that zap your energy.
So it could be that late night scroll through social media that leaves you feeling anxious and comparing yourself to others.
Exactly.
Or maybe it's that cluttered room that makes your mind feel scattered.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about taking stock of what consistently drains you.
Right.
And being honest with yourself about those energy dips.
So once we've identified the drains,
Right.
we can start setting some boundaries.
Exactly.
Boundaries, that word always feels a bit tricky.
It can be.
Especially when it comes to people we care about.
Yeah.
How do we set boundaries without feeling like we're being rude or rejecting someone?
It's a delicate balance for sure.
Yeah.
But remember, setting boundaries, even with loved ones, is crucial for protecting your energy.
Okay.
Think of it as a way to create healthier dynamics in your relationships.
I see.
When you communicate your needs and limits, you're allowing for more authentic connections.
So it's not about shutting people out completely.
Right.
It's about setting clear expectations.
Exactly.
And protecting our own well-being so we can show up as our best selves.
Absolutely. And sometimes setting boundaries might mean limiting your time with certain individuals, even if they're close friends or family. Remember, you don't have to sacrifice your well-being to maintain a relationship.
Right.
It's like putting on your own oxygen mask first before helping others.
Oh, I like that.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And speaking of replenishing our energy,
Right.
the source highlights some powerful energy-boosting practices we can incorporate into our lives.
Absolutely.
I'm all ears.
Well, meditation and mindfulness are at the top of the list. These practices help quiet the mind, reduce stress, and reconnect you with your inner peace.
I've definitely heard about the benefits of meditation,
Yeah.
but honestly, I've always struggled to make it a habit.
Sure.
Any advice for someone like me?
It's all about finding what works for you.
Okay.
There are so many different types of meditation.
Right.
Guided meditations, walking meditations, even just taking a few minutes to focus on your breath. Start small, experiment, and don't get discouraged if you don't get it right away.
Okay.
The key is to find a practice that resonates with you and makes you feel good.
Okay, that sounds less intimidating.
Yeah.
Besides meditation, what other energy-boosting practices does the source suggest?
Well, physical wellness is key.
Okay.
We're talking exercise, getting enough sleep,
Yeah.
and eating nourishing foods.
Right.
I know, not exactly groundbreaking stuff,
Right.
but it's easy to let these things slide when we're feeling drained.
It's true. We know these things are important,
Yeah.
but sometimes we need a reminder to prioritize those foundational practices.
Right.
And I imagine even small changes can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even a short walk in nature or a few minutes of stretching can do wonders for your energy levels.
I can see that.
And let's not forget the power of creative outlets. Engaging in hobbies and activities that bring you joy is like a shot of energy for the soul.
You mean things like painting, writing, dancing, anything that sparks our creativity and helps us reconnect with that sense of playfulness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about doing things that make you feel alive. And here's another powerful strategy: surrounding yourself with positivity.
Okay.
This means cultivating uplifting relationships with people who support and encourage you.
Right.
It also means creating environments that nurture your well-being.
So it's not just about avoiding negativity.
Right.
It's about actively seeking out those positive influences,
Exactly.
those people and places that energize and inspire us.
Think about the friends who always make you laugh,
Okay.
the mentors who believe in you, the spaces that bring you peace and joy. Those are the energy boosters you want to prioritize in your life.
It's like creating a force field of positivity.
It is.
Speaking of powerful forces, there's one more strategy I want to touch on: gratitude.
Okay.
The source mentions shifting our focus from what drains us to what fuels us.
Right.
Can you elaborate on that?
Of course.
Yeah.
Gratitude is such a powerful antidote to negativity. It's about taking a few moments each day to appreciate the good things in your life, no matter how small they may seem.
It's about training our minds to focus on the good,
Exactly.
even when things are tough.
Right.
And I bet that shift in perspective can have a huge impact on our energy levels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gratitude reminds us of our blessings and helps us approach life with a more positive and abundant mindset. It's like choosing to focus on the light instead of the darkness.
This is all making so much sense. But I'm curious to hear more about the spiritual perspective on energy.
Okay.
The source quoted the Bhagavad Gita, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
The quote is, Udhard atmanatmanam, not atmanam avasadayet,
Wow.
which translates to elevate yourself through your own mind. Never let it degrade you.
Wow, I can see why they included that.
Yeah.
How does this connect to the idea of energy vampires?
Well, many spiritual traditions believe that energy is sacred. It's the life force that flows through us all,
Right.
connecting us to the universe.
I see.
When we allow energy vampires to feed off of us, we're disrupting that sacred flow.
So it's not just about feeling tired or drained.
Right.
It's about something much deeper,
Yeah.
something that affects our connection to our true self.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Bhagavad Gita reminds us that we have the power to choose how we use our energy. We can choose to elevate ourselves, nurture our well-being, and protect that sacred flow.
This has been so insightful. I feel like we've covered so much ground already. But I'm eager to hear your final thoughts on how we can truly shine without limits. This deep dive into energy vampires has been really eye-opening, I have to say.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling kind of a shift in my thinking.
Yeah.
It's like I've been given this whole new lens to view my relationships and my habits.
I think that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's recap what we've learned.
Okay.
We started by unpacking this common paradox, feeling unfulfilled even when you're talented and driven.
Right. And we discovered that
Yeah.
it's not always an internal struggle.
Right. Sometimes the root of the problem
Yeah.
lies in those external factors.
They're
These energy vampires that can drain our vitality without us even realizing it.
sneaky.
And the tricky thing is, they can be anyone.
Yeah.
Friends, family, colleagues.
That's right.
They often hide behind a facade of affection,
Right.
which makes their tactics even more insidious.
It's true. It's not always about outright aggression.
Right,
Think subtle manipulation. Guilt trips making you doubt your abilities.
right.
Those are all classic energy vampire moves.
And the impact goes way beyond just feeling tired.
It does.
We talked about diminished creativity,
Right.
emotional burnout,
Yeah.
even physical health problems.
This can be really serious.
It's like they're slowly draining your belief in yourself, leaving you feeling stuck and unfulfilled.
But the good news is,
Right.
we're not powerless.
Or not.
We learned some really powerful strategies for protecting our energy and
right.
reclaiming our power.
Right. It all starts with awareness.
Yeah.
Paying attention to those subtle shifts in our energy, feeling drained after certain interactions, noticing patterns of self-doubt or dissatisfaction. Those are all clues that we might be dealing with an energy vampire.
And once we've identified those drains, we can start setting boundaries.
Yes.
Learning to say no without guilt,
Right.
prioritizing our well-being, even limiting our time with certain people. Those are all crucial steps in protecting our energy.
And then there are those energy boosting practices. We can weave into our daily lives things like meditation, spending time in nature,
Absolutely.
engaging in creative activities, surrounding ourselves with positivity, and practicing gratitude.
It's about replenishing our energy, strengthening our resilience, and choosing to focus on what fuels us rather than what drains us.
We even explored the spiritual side of energy,
We did.
learning from the Bhagavad Gita that our energy is sacred and that we have the power to choose how we use it.
That quote, elevate yourself through your own mind, never let it degrade you,
Powerful.
really resonated with me. It's a powerful reminder that we're not victims. We have the power to choose how we show up in the world and how we protect our precious energy.
This whole conversation has been incredibly empowering.
Good.
I feel like I have a new toolkit for navigating those tricky energy dynamics and for creating a life that feels truly fulfilling.
And that's what it's all about, recognizing those energy drains. It's just the first step. The real magic happens when we start implementing these strategies and creating a life that nourishes and supports our well-being.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
Think about the people and situations that leave you feeling energized and inspired. How can you prioritize those in your life?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It might be as simple as scheduling more time for your favorite hobby, connecting with a friend who always lifts your spirits, or creating a more peaceful and inspiring space in your home?
Those small shifts can make a world of difference. And remember, if you're feeling drawn to explore this topic further, there are tons of resources out there, books, articles, workshops.
Right.
Keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep diving deep into what resonates with you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and are feeling inspired to reclaim your energy and shine brightly until next time. Keep exploring and keep diving deep.